Hi everyone, welcome to the July CPHVA Charity of the Month video interview. I'm Helen Bird, I'm Editor of Community Practitioner, and this month our Charity of the Month is the NSPCC School Service. We're joined by Nick Hanslip, who is School Service Manager for the North and Midlands of NSPCC, is that right, Nick?
That's correct, yeah.
Yeah. And we've also got Dave Monday here, who's Professional Officer for CPHVA. Hi.
Hello.
So if we kick off with you, Nick, would you be able to just tell us a bit about the NSPCC School Service and how it was set up and why?
Yeah, absolutely. So firstly, a massive thank you. We feel absolutely privileged that the NSPCC School Service is your Charity of the Month, so thank you. The area coordinator for Derbyshire, who's been involved with this, is actually Linda Ricketts, and she apologises she's not here today, but a big thank you from her as well. The NSPCC School Service actually started in 2011, and it's part of NSPCC, whereby Childline had been prominent since 1986. And up to 2011, we'd identified that most callers to Childline were actually over the ages of 11. And when callers were coming through to Childline, they'd actually suffered from abuse for a long while and didn't have the courage to speak up when they were younger. So we identified there was a large population there of young people that could be experiencing a worry, no matter how big or small, and didn't have the confidence to talk about it. And we're often coming through to Childline and expressing they felt they wanted to talk about it a lot sooner. So we identified that we were able to go out to primary schools and help them to feel more confident to talk about any worry or any neglect or abuse or any form of unhappiness they might have, no matter how big or small. And there are over 30,000 primary schools in the UK now, so it's an ever-growing population of young people that might need our support. So what we identified was a real opportunity to recruit volunteers to get on board with us and to go out to as many primary schools as we can, so that we can give them the confidence and talk through to them what rights they have as young people, but in a really age-appropriate way, so that they were able to manifest and manipulate the language to help them express themselves more. We began working in partnership with schools, and we started with a really small group of volunteers, but continually over the years we've managed to grow that population. I mean, for example, in Derbyshire there are nearly 400 primary schools now, and currently we're able to reach every primary school every 2 years thanks to the dedication of volunteers. So that means we're able to reach over 20,000 children every year and talk through to them about their rights, thanks to our volunteers, and about how to keep happy but also how to keep safe and to speak out. And hopefully that preventative service is working in partnership with all the communities, parents, carers, organisations like yourself, who are obviously really key and prominent in the health and well-being of young people, and schools as well. So it allows us to branch out to communities who may well not actually have ever rung or contacted NSPCC before, and talk to them about what they can do to help themselves and others.
Yeah, absolutely. And Dave, from your point of view, how did the CPHVA come to work with or to come to engage with the NSPCC School Service, and in turn, how was the decision made to nominate them as Charity of the Month?
So many of our Charities of the Month are nominated by our members, and NSPCC School Service was nominated by Janine McKnight, who is actually one of our Health Visiting Organising Professional Committee members for the East Midlands. Janine's actually a volunteer for the NSPCC School Service, and you know, she speaks really, really warmly about the work that's done by them. And I think, you know, just as Nick said just then, you know, it's really you know, impressive to hear about the work that they've done. I think, you know, just in terms of many of our members' experience with the, you know, many of them all of them will know about the NSPCC and the great work that they do, but sort of split up across that huge charity is obviously lots of different parts doing lots of different individual pieces of work. And I thought that was a really nice thing as well in terms of recognising for Charity of the Month, not just the big organisation that is NSPCC, but actually just one facet of the work that they're engaged in. Actually, again, like Nick says, 20,000 children being sort of taught to every year. That's a really impressive feat that they've managed to achieve, and especially because it is done by volunteers. So lots of reasons why we would want to recognise the work that they do. I think the other thing that's really important is, as an organisation that represents health visitors and school nurses, sometimes it can be that we get lots of information about the 0 to 5 age range, because we've got many more health visitors in membership than school nurses because of the number of school nurses across the UK. But it is that bit about, obviously the work that they do, school nurses do, is absolutely critical, and it's great to be doing, a Charity of the Month that is sort of very much focused on their age range, and that was another thing that was really appealing about, having NSPCC School Service recognised this month.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, back to you, Nick. I've got here on my notes that you run safeguarding assemblies for year 5 and 6 school groups. Could you just talk a bit about what these involve?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel really privileged to be able to say, actually, we've actually doubled our reach now. So since April this year, we've actually been going to do assemblies with children ages 5 to 11. So we've actually doubled the audience now, which is fantastic. So it means we're able to meet children at a younger age and spread our messages at a younger age. So what we actually do is we visit the school, and in an assembly, so it's broken down into key stages. So we have an assembly for key stage 1, an assembly for key stage 2. Yeah. And our volunteers go in, and they go in with our mascot Buddy, and with Buddy they talk to children about their rights, which is speak out and be heard, be safe, and get help when they need it. And through an interactive, age-appropriate way, we cover with them what is okay and what is not okay. And it gives children the opportunity to have that space, that thinking time, and those examples of what might happen to them or others, or may well be happening to them or someone they know now. And our message is to speak out and keep speaking out until something changes or until they're heard, no matter what their worry is. And to make that interactive, Buddy takes in a sack of worries, and we go through the different worries that someone that they know or themselves might actually have as a burden, and we talk about how to unload that burden and how to get help if they need it through a trusted adult.
Yeah, that's a really nice approach. And is that the kind of approach you take in your safeguarding workshops as well, or is that a slightly different format?
Yeah, so our workshops, they're aimed for the Key Stage 2 for Year 5 and 6. It is in a slightly different format. We do recap with them our key messages from the assembly. We recap Childline and how to contact Childline if they need it, and that it's confidential. It's open 365 days a year. They learn a song for the number, so they never forget the number, and they always remember Buddy when we go back. In the workshop, we do spend a lot longer with them. The assemblies are 30 minutes, the workshops are an hour. And in a classroom-based discussion, it gives them opportunity as young adults to talk, and young children to talk through different scenarios of what might be okay, might not be okay. And we assess their understanding to ensure that message has been clear to them. And it gives them opportunity to talk to their peers as well about what trusted adults they could talk to. And to really help reinforce the message about being happy and staying safe, we talk through to them what being happy and staying safe means. And that really reinforces the message that they should have, and probably will have, a trusted adult either in or out of school to talk to if they need it, or Childline if they need it as well. And that's still run by our volunteers. It's very much working in partnership with the classroom teacher, and it's enabling children to have a vehicle to talk through this situation and to talk through this key message together as a class.
Definitely. So I assume you work quite closely alongside schools. Can you just tell us a bit more about how you engage with schools and school nurses as well, the kind of work you do with them?
Yeah, absolutely. Our key role when we go into a school, as well as doing the assemblies and the workshops, is to very much provide and equip schools, teachers, school staff, parents and carers in the community with resources that can help develop and build their confidence to protect children. So quite often we will leave behind some resources that either school nurses or health visits can also use in school from the NSPCC. And our aim really is to mobilise the full school community and not just to deliver assemblies and workshops. So we offer training and consultancy services to schools and head teachers and staff. We have comprehensive safeguarding training for them to continue to equip their skills and to continue their development. We also have the adult helpline at NSPCC, where any practitioner or any member of the community can contact us for some consultation on any concern they might have, no matter how big or small, about a young person or a child.
Yeah.
And we have extensive resources, and Buddies Speak Out assemblies and workshops are just one of the areas of that umbrella of resources. And we also have dedicated information for parents about how to keep their children safe online. Online safety is becoming more and more paramount in all realms, really, across the world, and it is really a gateway for more need to have more safeguarding messages put forward to children about how to keep safe online. And quite often, schools and or parents and carers, not all but some, might need some support in language and how to come across to their child or to their pupils about how to stay safe online. So we've got comprehensive, proven and tested guides on how to be safe. So we really are aiming to spread our reach, really, when we're in school. We recognise, due to capacity, we may well only be in a school once every 2 years, but we do contact them regularly to see what support they need further and signpost them to all NSPCC's different services. Like Dave said, we have many different areas of the organisation that can help, whether that's fundraising or whether that's our training and consultancy services or whether it's support for parents and staff. Hopefully, and this is our aim, hopefully we'll be able to equip and help schools deliver workshops to parents and carers as well to help them come into school and learn more about online safety.
Sorry, brief pause for someone's mobile there. Yeah, no, I think that would be. I think what workshops sound like a great idea, and you know, my next question was about community practitioners, and you know, sometimes
of course
they're very stretched for time. They've got huge caseloads. Sometimes they probably don't have the opportunity to proactively promote safeguarding messages to families and children. But is there any kind of advice or any resources that you would offer to practitioners?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Linda's been working really closely with some of your volunteers, as you mentioned at the start, such as Janine. So thank you for all the support in volunteering and all the communication you've had with NSPCC. Without you, we couldn't help protect children, and that's very much a partnership, and we're really aware of that we need to work together. One thing that I can suggest is that while anyone is in school, I think for a young person that is opportunity to be in a safe and happy place, and positive conversations can help build that rapport with a practitioner in that short period of time. However, I think what myself and Linda, the area coordinator for Derbyshire, have recognised is that through your capacity, what is a great idea is to leave behind some tools and resources, either for the classroom teacher or for young people or even parents and carers. We've got extensive resources. We often have posters up in schools where we've been. It's a buddy poster with our mascot on, and Childline's number is on there. But in terms of with adults, we've got the adult helpline, and if anybody is concerned about a young person, we do have a 24-hour 7 days a week adult helpline where we can provide consultation that's confidential to a practitioner or to anybody in the community about any worry, and of course look at through the steps that we need to take, and then we can support any need for any referrals or any mobilisation to safeguard that young person further. But I think it's about leaving tools behind. When Linda and I talked about this, it might well be that either in our assemblies or in your visits and your work with children, that young person yet isn't confident to speak out, but is processing what they're going to do, who they're going to talk to, what they're going to say. And I think by coming together as a network, we can equip that young person in different ways, whether that's just having the space and the time you spend with them, or whether that's using our resources and leaving them behind to build a framework around them that's sustainable for them to get help at the time they need it. So any resources we can have, that we have, we'll send them to you. And if you could help us spread the word and leave them behind in schools, I think that would be really, really powerful for now, but for future as well, by leaving that footprint in a school.
Yeah, that definitely sounds like something that is quite a powerful message for health visitors and community nurses to give, but something as simple as kind of leaving resources and tools when they make a visit, or in the schools themselves, and that can have quite a big impact in itself. But in terms of actually having direct conversations with children, I mean, community nurses would have pretty much day-to-day conversations with children and families, but sometimes it might be difficult to perhaps broach a potentially sensitive conversation, or if they're trying to gauge whether a child's sort of emotional state or feelings. What kind of advice would you give in terms of talking to sort of 10, 11-year-old children about their feelings and about about their sort of mental well-being, really?
Absolutely. I mean, compassion and empathy is always important, and I know your practitioners have that, as that's what makes them as great as what they are. I think it's about, for me, empowering young people and building their confidence more. And I think, firstly, listening skills are always really important, so that a young person doesn't feel like anything they've said might be right or wrong. And talking to them about what makes them happy, where they feel safe and where they feel happy, will help the young person identify as well where they could get help if it's not there and then with the practitioner. If, of course, a young person is going to disclose to a practitioner, I would feel that it's because of the great rapport the practitioner's built up already with that young person, whether it's just in that short period of time or whether that's through over regular visits and regular meetings with them. And I think that the message to children to speak out and that it's okay is something to really reinforce, so that a young person takes the time they need to be able to put forward their concern. And we often, when we're in schools, are faced with sometimes young people who might look upset or might come across as they've got something on their mind, and might not necessarily be ready to disclose to us, to our volunteers, or to the teacher while we're in school. So quite often we go through with them, who can they talk to, who is their trusted adult, who do they like to talk to in or out of school. Sometimes it might be Childline as well. We might give them opportunity to talk to Childline while we're with them. So I think for me it is being aware that with a young person, they're being really brave in talking to you about something or broaching the subject, and just by listening and being supportive is just as powerful as words. And of course you would then know what to do moving forward if they disclose. So I think it's about giving them that space and the time really for them to do that. It's quite difficult for them in some cases. And I think our advice to volunteers is always to remember that what they are saying is really big, and for them to be able to speak up And so, giving them the support, the friendly face, and the thanks for them building the confidence to do that, but trusting us is something to put forward as well. But I think over time, that general interaction will allow them to feel we're safe to talk to, that we're non-judgmental, and that's yourselves and us, of course, and that you're there to help if they need it.
Yeah, exactly.
It must be challenging though. It must be challenging though when you meet a young person, when your practitioners meet somebody and they don't seem quite themselves.
No.
So I think it's about talking to the young person about what makes them tick, to see what they are like when they are happy or feeling positive, to also help ascertain whether they've got something on their shoulders that they're carrying with them.
Exactly, yeah.
And if in doubt, Buddy, they all know Buddy, and Buddy's our mascot, and I think it's great that we have this partnership, and maybe referring back to Buddy might help them as well. Remember our key safeguarding messages, and that would show that we're working together to the young people as well.
Yeah, definitely. Recognise.
Just to say as well, Helen. On Tuesday, we launched our new Childline website as well.
Right.
And we've rebranded the Childline website, and on there are interactive message boards where young people can interact with each other. They can also get advice. There's Ask Sam, where they can get some advice about any key questions as well. And they can talk about how they feel and their mood in a safe, secure space with other people as well.
Yeah, that sounds great. I mean, a space for children and young people to actually interact with each other, as you say. I think that's a really valuable tool. So that sounds absolutely great, and we'd be glad to post the link to that new website as when we post this video as well. But yeah, so going back to your volunteers, you spoke quite a lot about them at the beginning of this chat, and they're obviously doing great work for the charity. And in Derbyshire, I believe they've spoken to more than 10,000 school children, which is just an incredible number. How many volunteers do you have, Nick? And what's the sort of process for any CPHVA members that are looking to get involved in volunteering as well?
Yeah. We have about 30 volunteers across Derbyshire, which is phenomenal. We are looking to grow, as I said at the very beginning. We're looking to reach every primary school every 2 years, and our class numbers are growing, our class sizes are growing, and that's a challenge. To deliver every workshop, we may need to go back to a school 3 or 4 times to deliver workshops, so we can see every year 5 and year 6 class. Yeah. So there is a very, very growing need at the moment in Derbyshire for volunteers. What I would say is that those 30 volunteers that we've got are able to go to a school once a fortnight and deliver an assembly or deliver workshops or both. So what we have is some training available. So if any of you are interested in volunteering, please contact Linda Ricketts or visit our website, NSPCC What You Can Do, where what we can do is send you more information about the role itself. Initially, we can have an informal chat, or we can read through the information we can send through to you about the role itself. We are recruiting now, so what we would do is invite to meet you, to talk to you further about what you think you can commit and what you're looking to get out of the role. We understand through your role, you are ideal. You're used to interacting with young people in a way that's safe and obviously in a confident way as well. So that is absolutely ideal for us. We have 2 days face-to-face training where we can equip you with the knowledge to be able to deliver our assemblies. We have interactive PowerPoints and materials that we can show you and go through with you. And help you build the confidence to go through Buddy's assemblies and workshops. So that's 2 days in the local area where you'd meet fellow volunteers and spend 2 days training as well. Once you've done those 2 days, Our extensive training and support programme would be Linda and our confident volunteers supporting you to go to schools, to observe our assemblies and workshops, and gradually begin to participate in those assemblies and workshops. And we'll support you along the way until you're confident to deliver a full assembly in partnership with another volunteer. You always go out in pairs, whether that's for safeguarding or whether that's to ensure that you can share best practice together. So you would really become part of a great support network, such as Janine and other volunteers. And together you would be able to regroup, share best practice. Now, what we then aim to achieve is for you to have seen 2 schools a month. So that would be ensuring that all classes have had an assembly in 2 schools, and that all year 5s and year 6s have had their workshops as well in 2 schools. So we try to fit it around, but it generally needs to be sort of during school hours, and well, it needs to be during school hours, of course, and during term time. So we would work with you on when you're available to do that, if you think that you have that capacity to do those 2 schools per month. We're often finding, as I said, that our classes are getting bigger, so we do spend longer in school than what we used to in 2011. So we will make sure that you're part of a strong volunteer group to have the confidence to achieve that. And we have extensive e-learning as well. Our e-learning is about child protection in schools. Okay. So that's really the framework you'd be in. It's fantastic that that we've got people that are interested in protecting children in this way.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in the I think members will have seen in the July issue of Community Practitioner, actually one of your volunteers wrote a piece for us, and a lady called Helen Simmons, and just couldn't say it enough, couldn't speak highly enough about being a volunteer and how much she gets out of it as a person, as well as helping the children and young people in the way that she does. So yeah, certainly something that's worth considering if you have got time to spare and want to give back a little bit more to the community. But you've spoken a lot there, Nick, about how CPHVA members can get involved and support the charity. But are there any other ways that you'd like to work with members, or how members can get in touch with you?
Yeah, absolutely. So Linda Rickett at nspcc.org.uk is the area coordinator for that area. If you are interested or have a need to take some resources into schools or into where you meet children and families to help provide that extra support, that extra layer of support, we can send them to you. Please spread the word about our volunteering opportunities. With you. We would be more than happy as well to come and meet you and look at our safeguarding messages together, so that we can work in partnership and ensure that we have a great strategy moving forward to work together to widen our reach and reach more children.
Definitely.
Finally, just to say, there's always as well our adult helpline, or you can email help@nspcc.org.uk if you need any resources quite quickly, or any support on where to signpost somebody that you might be worried about that might need some help.
Brilliant. Thank you ever so much. That's been a really useful chat, and I'm sure members will get a lot of value out of the resources that you offer, and potentially even sign up to be volunteers. Dave, have you got anything else to add?
No, I think just to say thanks for Nick and Helen's time again today. It's always good to do the Charity of the Month chats. And I think, like you say, Helen, Nick's given us lots of information that members hopefully can take away and think about how they can use the resources available to them to improve the work that they do locally.
Brilliant. Definitely. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Dave and Nick, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.